can actually turn this down. So, actually, one of the strangest things at the time ever was when I got back from America, when I got back to Sydney. I should have taken more time off, like a whole week. But what happened was, back in Sydney, the next day, maybe the next day I stayed at home, or maybe I didn't. It was within 48 hours. So maybe the second day after I was home, I went straight back to Sega World. Because probably it could have been the next day. For some reason, I went back in the next day. Said hello to a few friends. I spoke to the supervisor. I think I spoke to Rhonda. I said, I need a job, and I should have really put this off for a while, but I didn't. And I was a bit panicky. I just wanted to get back to work at the time. I said, I need a job. She's like, right, I'll roster you back on then. And she said, how about the day after tomorrow? I said, right, okay. So what happened was, got back to Sydney. 2 days later, I was back at work. And in retrospect, even a few months later, I was like, man, when I got back to Sydney, when I got back from overseas, I thought I should have just stay at home for a week or something to enjoy myself. But for some reason, I went straight back to work. Oh, because part of the trip I put on my credit card at the time, and I wanted to pay off my credit card. Part of the trip I put on the credit card, and then I paid that off or something like that. I really can't remember now, but I had a small debt. A couple of days later, I was on AS1. I was standing at AS1 at about 11 AM in the morning, standing there with no visitors in the park. I was standing there, I was thinking, well, that's strange, because 3 days ago I was walking along Sunset Boulevard, and 3 days ago I was walking along Sunset Boulevard sitting there, and now I'm on AS1 in Darling Harbour. Displacement. Actually, that wasn't the most displacement I've ever had. The most displacement I've ever had was in late 2016. Very late 2016. Michelle and myself, we decided to, we were showing this German tourist around town. We were showing her around town. And we'd met her and we were showing her around town. Anyway, we drove from Petersham to Burrinjuck Dam, which is down past Goulburn, yes, Burrinjuck Dam. Stood on the shore of Burrinjuck Dam at approximately 1 PM in the afternoon. So left Sydney, drove down there, that's a 3-hour drive, drove down, stood on the shore there of the dam, and then drove back to Sydney. That same day, stayed there for about an hour or so, then drove back to Sydney, and then went into Frankie's Pizza that night at Wynyard. And at approximately about 10 PM that night, 9 or 10 PM that night, I said to myself, oh wow, I said, wow, that's displacement. I said, right, so today has been Sydney, Burrinjuck Dam, back to Frankie's. Whoa. But that was huge. AS1, I was like, wow, 3 days ago I was walking along Sunset Boulevard.